Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest,
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
innovate,
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
and inspire.
I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You're now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, we are going to be talking about what is the best way to market for real estate investors or just anyone trying to find good deals. So right now, 2021, the game is dramatically changing. You are seeing a lot of new tech, a lot of new innovation. Obviously, COVID and the pandemic have changed how we market. So, I want you guys to be really clear that things that worked 2 years ago, 3 years ago, may not work as well today. They may not even work at all. You're starting to see a lot of litigation and, the legal system change what's allowed, especially with cold calling and texting. Phone carriers are starting to, really regulate that at their own discretion. And you may have been killing it with cold calling years before, and now not so much. So I just want to say, when I first started out, direct mail was the thing that everyone was talking about. I started investing back in 2015, and I remember everyone saying, you got to direct mail, send mailers, and you will get deals. And I actually never did it. In fact, back in 2015, when I first started, I was only going and getting deals off the MLS. I had then found out about wholesalers, and that was honestly my marketing strategy my first 3 years. 2015, 2016, 2017, I was just looking on the MLS, and I was just trying to find wholesalers, build relationships, also build relationships with realtors. But pretty much the strategy was, let's not spend any dollars on marketing, and let's just build relationships and hunt the MLS. And that worked. It worked really well for me. In fact, all of those deals made me over $1 million without spending a dollar. So definitely worked. But, around 2017, that was when I first started to think about, hey, if I am going to pay for marketing, what's it going to look like? What should I do? And back then in 2017, a lot of people were talking about cold calling. Now, cold calling was something that, people have been doing forever. If you're a realtor, you know that, one of the best lists to do was to go cold call expired listings. Wake up early in the morning. It's what Tom Ferry and Mike Ferry teach. Wake up at like 6 a.m. and go cold call these sellers who just had their listing expired, or go door knock them, whatever. It made a comeback in the investing game. People started cold calling again around 17, and everyone started talking about it. And by 18, everyone was doing it. It was huge. So, as soon as people started doing that and it became saturated, then you saw the rise of text messaging. In 2018, people started talking about text messaging. And, the early adopters got a lot of deals, and then all of a sudden it became saturated again. Then 2019, kind of the same thing. You started hearing people talk about RVM, ringless voicemail. And, people were talking about that in 18 as well, but, having good success with that. It's the hot new thing. And then boom, everyone does it. So going into 2020, people are like, all right, what's going to be the hot new marketing channel? Is it going to be something we've never even heard of? Are mailers going to come back in style? All I can tell you is, for me, in 2020, we started doing TV commercials. And a lot of people never even think about TV because they're like, oh, TV's dead. That's a form of advertising that is long gone. Just like direct mail, it's dead. And TV worked tremendously for us. We did over $1 million in revenue from TV alone last year in 2020. And, TV is something that not everyone can do. It takes a lot of bankroll. You can't just go buy $1,000 worth of TV. It ain't going to work. It takes the right commercial and testing. You got to buy the right ad space. Like, most people will never do TV because there's just too much complexity with it. And even me, I have a TV provider who handles all of that stuff. They made the commercial. They were experts. They know what ads to pick. And if I didn't have them, I would not be on TV. So, long story short, what works today will be different for everyone. In fact, we still cold call and get deals. We still text and get deals. Even though it is more competitive, no doubt about it, we are still getting deals with those techniques. Now, is the ROI the same as it was 3 years ago when there was less competition? No. But doesn't mean you can't still make good money and get deals. The one thing I'll say, as you guys try and figure out what kind of marketing you want to do, and this applies to all industries, okay? This does not just only relate to real estate. You can cold call, direct mail, text, anybody for your business, in whatever industry you're in. But here's the deal. If you are going to market, what works for you is going to depend on your market, your budget, and your industry. All right? Think about this. A lot of people I see who are trying to flip wholesale real estate, whatever. A lot of people tell me, hey, Ryan, we honestly just use bandit signs. We'll put out 500 bandit signs over the weekend. We'll get calls and then we'll get a deal. And if any of you guys have ever seen those bandit signs of, we'll buy your house cash, that's what they're talking about. Little side note hack. I call those signs just to, introduce myself and potentially build a relationship and get deals. But anyways, those guys who do bandit signs, they're most likely doing them in lower income areas, lower income, markets, and they're effective. But I can tell you this, if I've got a $5 million home in San Francisco, I ain't calling no bandit sign, expecting them to give me a cash offer. That's just not the way you market in that market, okay? So your market plays a huge role in what forms of advertising are going to work. Here's a quick word from our sponsors. Are you looking to find off-market real estate deals? One of the best tools my team uses is Batch Leads. With Batch Leads, you're able to pull data, manage lists, and send text messages. On top of that, you can get nationwide access to the MLS to get pictures and comps. My team has used Batch Leads to get some of our best deals, so I know it works. If you want to start today, you can get half off your first month by going to batchleads.io and using the promo code Ryan. Once again, that's batchleads.io, promo code Ryan for half off your first month. One of the hardest parts about real estate investing is finding a good contractor. That's where Southwestern Custom Construction comes in. They've been doing remodels in Nevada and Arizona since 2006. As a fully licensed and bonded general contractor, they're able to help with any type of renovation, all the way from an entry-level fixer-upper to a custom luxury home. Southwestern Custom Construction specializes in working with investors. I've personally used them on many of my projects, so I know their team is legit. If you want to get a bid on a project, head over to customhomenow.com. Once again, that's customhomenow.com. Are you looking to grow your real estate investing business? My company, Future Flipper, can help. We've taught hundreds of people all over the country how to flip, wholesale, and buy rental properties. And it doesn't matter where you're at in your investing journey. Whether you're trying to get your first deal or scale your company, Future Flipper can help. We have courses, coaching, and events for all levels of investors. So if you want to take the next step, go to futureflipper.com and book a free consultation to see how we can best help you. Once again, that's futureflipper.com. Now, back to the show. Another thing is your budget. So as I mentioned, with TV, it is kind of what I would call a big boys game. You got to spend a lot of dough for it to work on TV. If you're only going to spend a couple $1,000, don't even waste your money. It will be ineffective. You got to use your resources in a different way. As I said before, with our budget, we allocate, based on what we think is going to actually get a return. TV for us, we're usually spending at least $20,000 a month because that's what we feel it takes to really see the best results of TV. With cold calling and text, you can spend $1,000 a month and get great results. With direct mail, you got to spend a lot more money again. You're probably not going to get great results only spending $1,000 because the response rates are so low with direct mail. If somebody's doing really good at direct mail, they're getting a 1% response rate. And so what that means is you send out 1,000 letters, you're hoping to get 10 calls back. And how many of those 10 are actually serious, right? Maybe one. So you got one shot to really get a deal. And that's like kind of a best case scenario, to be quite honest. So you got to understand your budget when you are choosing what marketing channel. And then, as I said before, this is really about real estate, but in your industry, right? Where are your customers looking for the product you're selling? If you're an AC company, figure out, hey, where are my customers looking who want to buy a new AC? They're probably on Yelp. They're probably on Google. And I would imagine that's the way most people are looking for an AC company, because they only call them when their AC goes out. They're trying to find the first person who can go fix it. I would not be cold calling people saying, hey, do you need a new AC? Probably not going to work that great. So you got to understand your industry. One thing I'll say is, in this pandemic world, we're talking about how cold calling and texting and these other things, they still get returns. Maybe not as high as years past, but they still work. But you got to understand the things that have really changed from the pandemic. And I'll tell you, over the years, door knocking was a great tool for us. And we got a lot of deals door knocking. But right now, people don't want you knocking on their doors, just showing up at their house. So door knocking has not been good for us this, whole last year. I don't even know if we got one door knocking deal. Whereas in years past, that would produce, at least 6 figures, and it's free. It's free to go door knock. So, you got that. Another one would be the MLS. Over the years, as I said, the MLS has been very good to us, but the last year with no inventory on the MLS, nothing's for sale, it has not been good. It's just, there's not a lot of opportunities out there. So, MLS isn't great. Lastly, another one would be wholesalers. As I said before, MLS wholesalers, those were our top 2 starting out, but wholesalers right now aren't getting as many deals, at least in my markets, as I've seen before. And so, it's just something that, it doesn't mean it's forever. Doesn't mean there's never going to be wholesale deals again or MLS deals again. It just means right now, maybe they're not the best use of our resources to find deals. So, all I can say is, remember, look at your market, look at your budget. If I had to give just the best advice I could to the audience on this podcast, we talk about this stuff all the time. In my coaching program, we also talk about it in my online course. If that's something you're interested in, you can go to futureflipper.com. Once again, that's futureflipper.com. If you're watching the video version of this, we will link to it below on YouTube and in the notes on Apple Podcast. But, we talk about all these changes on a weekly basis in my coaching program. And it's something that you got to adapt, because if you spend a lot of money on something that's not working, and you continue to spend money and it doesn't get a result, it can put you out of business really quick. So think about that. As you guys have seen on this podcast, Batch Leads is one of our sponsors. And the only reason they're one of our sponsors is because we actually use their product. And, I know it works and I know it's a great value. So definitely use, the Batch Leads promos that we do in the sponsors, because it's a great cheap way to get some data, start texting, start calling and all that stuff, and go get some deals. So at the end of the day, all that really matters is how well are you, or how good are you at generating leads, and then how good are you at converting those leads into sales. A lot of people think that if you just market and get leads, you're going to get deals. It's not true. I mean, it's a sales game at the end of the day. If you got to have good people who can close deals in order for your marketing to be effective. So if you're not getting deals, you also might want to think about, well, what's up with my sales process? Is there something wrong with that? Because I'm generating leads, but I'm still not getting deals. Well, you might have a sales problem. So it's not always marketing. But anyways, if you want me to do like a podcast on sales, comment below on YouTube if you can, and let me know, and we'll just do a quick little podcast on my favorite tips and tricks for negotiating better and talking to people, and how to be more comfortable in person, on camera, over the phone, all those things, and that should help you get some more deals and generate some more revenue. But Anyways, that is all I've got for 2021 marketing and how you guys can get more deals. Hopefully it helps you out. And once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.